Welcome to Answers from the Universe and the Andronicus transmissions on Wolf Spirit Radio, Ever Beyond Radio, and Studio 9 Jam on YouTube. With your host, Jessica Ariel Morocco, featuring JP as the voice of Andronicus. Please visit www.readingsbyrael.com, that's A-R-A-E-L.
From the future, by way of the past. I bought my ticket for the 15th century. We started moving through a hole in history.
You're listening to Wolf Spirit Radio.
Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining us at Answers from the Universe and the Andronicus transmissions. I'm doing a show a little bit in advance. We're doing a pre-recorded show partially. The first transmissions, I will be away during next week, and I would like to probably come on and speak live. But the first part, if you're looking for us, you'll be able to go into the chat room, but it won't be live at that time. I just want to do a quick overview and encourage everyone to, continue to manifest the things that we need, and not be focused on whether or not you agree or disagree with what happened with the elections. I am a little concerned. People are, I don't know what's happening, if it's universities or someone sending out young college kids, and I don't want to see anyone hurt. I don't think this is the right way to do it, and I think that, remember, this is someone else's children. Keep that in mind. We don't want to see anyone getting harmed. So, If whoever gets into office or whatever happens, it doesn't really, it does matter, but what's most important is that we do not get us into a situation where it becomes a police state. Believe me, regardless of whoever is in office, there's always the same power that's behind them. Either way, neither one of them have that much power individually. So they still have to go through Congress and the chain of command and the corporations. So let's be realistic and keep a level head and don't react to the puppet master who wants us to all be in martial law. So I just want to encourage everyone regarding that. Anyhow, on a lighter note, we all continue to, seeing things in a positive light. And, JP, you there?
Well, some of me is, yes.
Yeah.
Most of me is here, but the rest of me is floating in a kind of no-time soup. How are you?
I'm very good.
It's Saturday morning here. It's a Friday night, in the U of K. And we're doing a pre-record, so this is quite fun.
Yeah, and remember we did that on a Tuesday and you got completely flustered. So
yeah.
Let's see, do you think you'll have the same
challenge? Oh no, Friday is the Venus Day, right? See, okay, Tuesday is Mars Day, Mardi, yeah?
Okay.
So Friday night is the night of gatherings, the night of love, the better day to have a date. Saturday is more of Saturnian. Yeah. So that's more like formal things. You go to formal dinners on a Saturday night, but you go to parties on the Friday night. Some parties on a Saturday night. Sorry?
Shani's Day.
Shani's Day.
Supposed to, yeah. Well, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Shani is the god of the black sun. And that's what Seren talked about when he brought information regarding Saturday.
So there we go. And so, as far as I'm concerned, it's still Friday.
All right, it's Friday, but you said Tuesday is Mars Day, and interesting enough, Andronicus begins with what?
Mars, a city that's went under a dozen times. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of unusual, JP.
Yeah,
kind of,
I'm ahead of the game, yes.
Yeah.
Very interesting. There's been a lot of that around tonight. A very large amount of being kind of in the no time, ahead and behind and forward and backwards and connected to all sorts of different dimensional aspects of the now. This evening, very much in the conversation I had with my friend and with Andrew and later with yourself. So here we are. So it's Freya Day, which is another aspect of your incarnation, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Freya, Venus, all that energy. It's all good energy. It's love energy. And we always, and love is not just what we're getting out of it, but what we're sharing and the experience. And it's all different types of love too, isn't it?
Yes, and there's a love that, the love that there speaketh not its name. No, it's the love that humans in the collective oneness have for each other, which is, it's kind of really what we want from a romantic partner. But it's that connection of knowing who you are and who the other person is, that they are you. That's how you know it. The only thing you know is what you know because you've done it. So how can you know anything as anything unless you know yourself and the other through that? So, and it's a different kind of love, and I believe that that's what Plato was trying to get at when he talks about platonic relationships.
Yeah. And there's different, there's the love between friends, there's love between lovers, there's a love between, family. And then there's just a love for, all living things. I'm not sure if there's a Greek word for that, but it seems like they have all the different Greek words.
There's, something like there's agape, which is this other kind of...
Phileo, I think, is another. There's a few different. I probably could look it up and
talking
I remember
of love,
I used to know them all.
Talking of love, Jessica, the deepest poet, the deepest modern poet of love in the English language, Leonard Cohen, passed away this morning.
Oh.
And he's my favorite modern poet, as I say. He sums up the feelings the complex feelings of a man's love. So if you've ever, and this is the kind of love that you have in that platonic love. It's rich. It's, deep. I think this is the love that we're all seeking. And
it's an unconditional love.
Yeah.
It's a love regardless of whether a person agrees with us or not. It's a love for just who they are, not trying to change anything, acknowledging that they exist, that you exist, and that you can be in that moment and just cherish their energy, their expressions, their thoughts, and feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, well, it feels comfortable because it's just the same as being with yourself.
Yeah, or seeing the contrast of yourself, which is interesting because you're observing a whole different expression that might be something that you're learning or understanding or embracing at the time. It's funny, we had this chocolate called Choco Love, and it has cherries and almonds and dark chocolates.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so. I looked on the inside and there's this poem by Lord Byron.
Oh.
George Gordon and Lord Byron, it says. And it's, so it's cherry almond, from The First Kiss of Love. Do you mind if I read it?
Go on. Read me love poetry, Jessica. Read me love poetry, my beautiful sister.
Well, it's Freya Day.
Yes.
And Venus Day, so we're gonna read maybe we should do more Friday shows, but the first kiss of love. Away with your fictions of flimsy romance, those tissues of falsehood which folly has wove. Give me the mild beam of the soul-breathing glance, or the rapture which dwells in the first kiss of love. Ye rhymers, whose bosoms with fantasy glow, whose pastoral passions are made for the grove, from what blessed inspirations your sonnets would flow, could you ever have tasted the first kiss love? If Apollo should e'er his assistance refuse, or the Nine be disposed from your service to rove, invoke them no more, bid adieu to the muse, and try the effect of the first kiss of love. George Gordon and Lord Byron.
The first kiss of love. Oh, that's the one, isn't it? You know, could be weeks, could be minutes. You know, the first time you kiss, and the you know the energy potential that's built up in both of each person is discharged through the electrical connection of the lips. Bzzz. Brilliant. Brilliant.
I saw that and I said, I think I'm going to read that.
Yeah, why not?
And I didn't know how it would fit in. I just put it on my dresser and left it there.
And there's Apollo.
And there's Apollo.
Our old friend Rodin.
Rodin. Yep.
Everything is tangled today. Everything is completely quantum entangled. So, perhaps this is the more appropriate day to read this.
Yeah.
And so, engage the time machine.
Andronicus.
Mars, a city that went under a dozen times or more, remains a city that I still adore. I feel the ashen dust upon my feet. I'm not sure what was meant by defeat. I lift the chalice once again, and there I sense another prince not making his way. I'm grieving from the many lost ones. After many years of finding what is within my own soul, I discovered that many fell behind and I never reached back to pick up. I had many opportunities to help out my friends. I am resigned to state that I have been selfish. Selfishness is a trait or attribute of the soul that hinders us from seeing beyond our own needs. It is a reflection that we don't perceive ourselves as one of the whole. If we separate ourselves from the rest, then it is merely me who must attend to things. I won't have to get another morsel of bread. I won't have to gather more kindling for the fire or catch more fish than I desire. I lift myself again and hear the many words of what people say in their heads. They all forgot that we are a group. If one gathers for many, then he is rewarded with laughter from plenty. If one takes what is not there, then he will be resolved to have many years of fears.
Tears.
Then he will be resolved to have many years of tears. There is enough for us all. We live in a dynamic of power within ourselves. Let's use it well. Take back your truth and let the truth be known unto you. Let your inner talk be in harmony with your actions. Don't begrudge what others ask of you. We are all here to learn and be at peace. I am now seated in Jupiter, high above the stars. My position is lofty, and I am as a king amongst many palaces. I have anything I desire, and yet I am alone. Alone in my mind as I hear the mental chatter about me. There are 16 servants about me now. I walk with a long gait and a robe that flows like fine silk and satin combined. It is red, the colour of a royal. Or should it be blue to match the blueness of my heart? I am sad and sorrowful for so many things. I was thought to be the blue blood at one time. The blue skin I enamoured and wanted it to be like mine. I hated the white, too white for many. I saw the people of great power wearing blue, blue-skinned warriors. Next to them I was fair, white and weak. Not any more, I show them. Look upon me,
I may be white, but my veins are blue within. You see, the race wars and status is very old. It became a problem very long ago when one species overtook another. They would criticize the differences of skin, of eyes, of sound, or method of communication. Languages were a mess, deconstructed to satisfy the mixing of cultures. So many misunderstandings by terms not understood after the languages were adjusted. Confusion, indecision, corruption, elitism, aggression, caste systems were all created so long ago. If you were guilty of these things, then so many other species were as well. Yet it does not satisfy the need to correct it. Why did we bring this notion to humanity? Why did we tell you we were superior and ask you to worship us? We can see how this has deeply affected you. We can see that we encouraged the caste system and added to your insecurities as a race every time we visited and lived among you. I'll be honest, you were all starry-eyed and enamored. You gave us everything we wanted because you saw us with so much wisdom and light. We were wrong for taking advantage of you. On other planets we were not received so well. I could see how badly this turned out at times, but often we deserved it. We didn't have the right to impose upon another culture, yet we did. Now, when it is time for you to arise, you are reluctant and unsure. Only the elites remembered their station and their divine right to rule. However, they forgot the clause that stated that they were not to rule others into oppression. We could discuss this topic all day, but then what? Where will it leave us? I say the only true voice is from the heart. The passion and desire to exist is all amongst us, and you are not required to take a back seat to others who are groomed to control the pure in heart. They were groomed to dominate you into submission. They have nothing more than that, but a sense of knowing that they are rulers. I am a hypocrite as I speak to you now. I cannot bear one more day of being in this high station of self-righteousness as I order around my servants who are too willing to serve me. I don't give them a fair wage. They deserve all I have, and before this conversation is over, I will give them all a share of my property and leave the planet. I am now speaking to the powers upon the earth and other planets that wage war upon the commoner. You must abort your role right now as we speak. This is my agreement with everyone. They said they could do as I do. I am now forfeiting my status. I am now forfeiting my status to evenly distribute my wealth and property to attain my freedom. Yes, it is my freedom to leave and not be bound to rule any more. I am done. And now it's your turn. The weak shall rise and take back what is theirs. Well, that seems even deeper than it was when I read it the other night.
I know. And you really, it's funny because, I'm channeling it and I'm writing it. And then sometimes I go back and I say, wow, did I write that? And I said, no, I didn't write that. Mm-hmm. I didn't, because I look at it and say, oh, that's pretty interesting that it was said in that way. And it's not the way I talk.
Yeah.
But, I get the depth of it, right?
Yeah. And the beginning, he's kind of almost rhyming.
He is.
Yeah, the first few lines of the beginning. Yeah. I
feel like that was a message.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to describe it.
Yeah. So.
And the whole discussion about caste systems and royalty and he got wary of it. He didn't like it that they were so agreeable. I think he wanted someone to say, hey, I don't really feel like doing this right now. I think he would have appreciated it. But a part of me almost felt like they were robotic, like they were programmed. They were, there to not create any type of conflict.
Yeah. So, actually, it feels like this is the beginning of describing the dream or the nightmare. I lift the chalice once again, and there, so first he starts in the poetic, I feel the ash and dust upon my feet. I'm not sure what's meant by defeat. I lift the chalice once again, and you expect da-da-da-da-da-da-da, but then, and there I sense another prince not making his way. And then it's like that's opened up another dream sequence.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes all the way to the end, where he's then saying, I'm a hypocrite as I speak to you now, and I can't bear, this is like he's laid out his scenario and why you're his confessor, aren't you?
He can talk to me freely because I'm not attached to his reality.
Yeah.
And so, if you, this is why these unentangled beings can come into our reality and tell us something brilliant about our circumstance, because they're not emotionally attached to it. And they can see it from all perspectives. And I'm not saying that I can see things from all perspectives, but that I'm not judgmental about it. I'm observing and listening. And not necessarily giving him advice, but just allowing him to talk and saying what he feels, but yet he knows that how I feel about the topic at the same time. And kind of me seeing him in that station where he's in power and ruling, and then feeling like he is allowed to say exactly what's on his heart without feeling judged or feeling that he has to put up a facade of any sort. Because I'm not in that reality and I don't have to. He doesn't feel threatened in any way, or that I would reveal his secret, or, there's so many different aspects of the unentanglement that creates a freedom and a liberty. So yeah, in many ways I think I'm the one that they all confess to. They're all admitting their deeper secrets. Even Midas, and people think, well, Midas is just trying to be funny. No, Midas is really just being Midas, saying, he's not expecting that a whole audience is hearing everything that he's thinking and feeling. Because he probably would have a different air about himself and conceal a lot of that. What's that?
He doesn't know he's on a reality radio show.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If any of them were to show up, it would be like,
oh, this is a bit embarrassing.
You told everyone. You told everyone about, I'll have to change my name.
Well, they're big on YouTube. That's all I can say.
I know. Yeah. Oh, my name's George. Right. Sam. Sam, I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Gary.
Gary.
And Eric. And all these characters that turn up. Isn't that funny?
All the Murthers with their common names. Yeah,
exactly.
Smiling Bob.
Bob and Gary and Paul, yeah.
Yeah. I think I found Gary. They said this to me for about, I don't know, maybe almost a year. Where is Gary? I don't know where Gary is. Well, we're worried about Gary. Can you help us find Gary? I said, well, what does he look like? And they wouldn't tell me anything.
He looks like an Earth. It looks like a grey. So was he in Area 51? Did they capture him or something?
I don't know. I don't know if he had died or they had captured him or he was freed. I have no idea. They just, apparently he was around me and then he was gone. And in some ways I had to take ownership of it. But I didn't know, There's different ones that showed up.
What a life. What a life. You need a holiday.
I need a holiday.
So
I think that's what I'm going to do, just to find some more of them.
Yeah, that's right. As if you're going to have a normal holiday where you can lay in the sun and sunbathe. You just
yeah, Apollo shows up with wings or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Wouldn't that be cool?
I was talking. I need to speak to you right now. Anyhow, so I thought we'd go to Borkum next.
Yep. And It is done. I am renewed and floating into the light. My soul is no longer bound to this planet, and I have fulfilled my role to assist humanity onto a new dimensional plane. I love you. I adore you. You are like my children. I am like your guide. Let me fly into the ethers and be done. I'm sorry. Let me fly into the ethers and be one with the Almighty. Let me float to the greater pasture of plains unlimited. I will visit you for sure, but my liberation tells me I won't have to endure any further hardships of this reality. You are one, and I am one with all. We are all one. We are all one tribe. We are all one people. We are the fathers and the mothers. We are the sisters and the brothers. We are the sacred race, the lineage to truth. We are the many stars in the skies, and we float and fly, bringing light to many. Come with me, children, sing the songs of the great birds. Float lightly with the wind of the eagle. Turn your eyes to all directions and see the heart within all. Embrace the womb of the mother who brings forth life, and raise your head to the Father who sustains and feeds and protects all. Call forth the brothers and the sisters of the East. Welcome in the brothers and sisters of the West. Sing forth the heat of the winds of the South, and whisper gently to the North and keep the harsh storm out. It is time we meet in the center to be as one. One earth, one people, one love, all God. Liberation is near for you all, you hear. No, liberation is near for all of you who hear. Suma, Primus, Kitron, allow your focus to connect to Source and bring forth the many bounties of life to help sustain the children of the light. Celebrate your new truths, your new realities. Be as one, my friends. Be as one. So, a bit of a monologue from Captain Borkham there.
Yeah, he's a little jubilant, elevated, fulfilled. Yeah, relieved.
Yeah. He's got closure. He's achieved
closure.
This is the feeling of this week. There's a lot of feelings of closure.
Yeah, it's a transition into another experience. And it was kind of refreshing, and it's just, we know all this information, but it's always good to hear it, isn't it? It's positive.
Yeah. It sounded like a Mr. Motivator speech.
But I think it was really heartfelt. I think he was just releasing, like, I'm finished here. I did this. It had to get done. I'm glad I did it. Yeah, it was really positive.
So,
you're off to Rodan.
Off to Rodan. The spear has been removed from the chasm, and we are lifting into a new reality. I don't know how such an energy could have entered into a very divine space. It is now my duty to collect the matter and trace back to the origin of the intrusion. A star so bright from far out in the distance is now before me. I cannot comprehend its origin. It is nearing us, and yet the destination is not yet known. I shall climb up into the space of light and perceive its essence. It's brilliant in form and clarity. I want to know the history, the origin of its light, the messages of time that spill out from eternity and leave a constant glow of love. Do you know about this light? How long have you been aware of its presence?
It has been here for nearly 6 months, where I was aware of it.
Then time shifted into dream space. The star opened up to a door that allowed in even more light and streams of golden light. It then turned to streams of silver light, and a luminescent purple rose above it. The top opened up like a flower, and the star began to look like a flame. A young child sat beneath it. Tell me, child, what troubles you and brings you to us? The child then looked at Suma. I am here and I am there. She pointed to Suma in present day. Rodan turns and examines the situation and sees the familiar face of the child. He then observes a time when he approaches Suma as a child long ago. What ails you, child? Why do you look so sad?
I am troubled by myself. Something isn't right. I'm unhappy somewhere else.
Come now, be as the other children and play. You worry too much like the adults. You needn't be so serious.
But I feel like I'm dying. I don't want to die now. I want to live, and I promise I will help others if I don't die.
You're a bright star. Look, there are many others out there like you. They don't fret about dying. They don't consider their outcome. All stars must die to come in as another type of expression. See, many have become whole and grew into larger forms of light. Some are as big as the sun. Do you want to be the sun?
No, never. I would never disrespect the honorable sun. I would live in harmony with the sun and ask that he shares his light with me so I don't die or turn into a black hole, as they did.
Suma turns and points to a swirling mass of small stars that were being pulled into an unseen black hole. Fear not. You have not chosen that as your destiny. Just your acknowledging this shows me you have awakened to your finite essence. You choose to be more than just a light, a speck of light reflective of the powerful source of all things. You would like to be more?
I don't know if I need to be more, but rather exist longer than I was originally determined to be.
But you already are. Your light is turning purple. It is changing in essence. Wait. It's now blue, a blue ball of light. I see you now. Ah, so this is what they were speaking about.
I want her to be safe. She is me. Why is she not safe now?
She is safe. I am here now to observe her and those around her. Tell me, child, how did you know how to find your future self? This is not supposed to be a part of your reality. The doors are closed to your future truth. I can see that clearly.
I've discovered many ways to see beyond the doors. So when the doors close, I see through them as if they never existed. It is my truth.
Hey, you're so young, yet so wise. Did someone teach you about these things?
I was exposed to the same environments and truths as the other stars. I was not left outside of this truth, nor did I stray from the central core of our truth.
Then, if you are in your truth, the light shines to reveal all knowing. Tell me, child, how do you know to look beyond the glass, the veils, the doors, and the portals? It is good for you to tell me how you know these things, so I can see that others are not in danger of you.
I don't know. My truth expanded as a flower from within, and a light shined into me from an unknown source, and I was lifted from my star to rise above the star and see as one peers above the planets. I was peering above the known truth of our reality.
You realize we don't understand how you were able to do this and how you could pass through our borders to see beyond veils, doors, windows, portals, mirrors, and others? How, child? It troubles me that we see you now as an invader, and we must set you apart from the many stars to be alone so we can observe you.
I don't want to be alone. I only want to survive. Please, don't separate me from my friends. I don't want to be alone. Don't let them hurt her anymore. Please, see my truth. I don't know how this happened.
Rodan then closed the window and the star was gone. Suma, are you beginning to understand now? We could not see your origin of existence. You have no bias against the black or the white of reality. You rest naturally between the black and white of contrast. I know you, and have known you for a very long time. I have not found you to be in rebellion other than in an effort to assist the dark to become light if it so chooses. You have been even accused of being aligned with the dark, and yet even in that space, you hold your light. What of you, child? We have chosen to allow you to float and venture as you please, and to do your work to be freed of this complexity of realities you float in and out of. I don't know what else to do, but to trust you and not prohibit your natural flow into the light and dark that assists all. I have freed you once and for all, and will pursue those who are here to harm with deliberate attempts to harm the innocent. I see you have done your best to protect humanity. We want you to do more for us. We apologize for the deep injury of separation from the truth, the light, the love, and your group. You are now allowed to dwell in that space again, and I will begin to introduce you to the others. Be in peace, child. All of us have been falsely accused, misinterpreted, and disliked because of our unique qualities. It is another level of growth. We have all gone through it. Some are ushered in from the contrast of darkness, and others are ushered in by the brightness of light. You were ushered in by both, as a few others. It is unique and has prevented many from understanding or trusting you. Your greatest heartbreak is the misunderstanding of all of it. Because you only see love and acceptance, the shades of contrast never cloud your vision.
I have seen light in dark places, and blackness in the places where light should be. I'm glad you finally understand me. Then the mailman came and I opened a package today. A package that came from JP. It was a round piece of shungite, a stone so black that one could barely see the light from within. I placed it around my neck and blessed JP in Ireland, from whence it came. I could see Rodan nodding his head.
Well done, child. Carry both and do your work moving forward. So that's quite an adventure. This is taking you back in time to when you were a child.
It was a different expression of my essence or soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw thousands of stars there. You know, people say that they relate to stars as if it's a part of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeing it's an energy force, isn't it?
Mm.
And so in some ways the little child there in a lotus position, resting, floating, and there are many others. And the conversation, it was very emotional for me.
Mm.
Like I probably listening to it, a person might say it sounds absurd or silly. It's sort of right up there with the whole story about, the ancient ones playing with the planets, tossing the planets about. It felt like there were thousands, many, many people will probably relate to this, of having that form or energy expression where they're there and they're bright, and that yet they know that their flame is going to go out at some point, and it was an uncomfortable feeling. It was feeling like that you're going to diminish, that you're going to fade away, that you're going to no longer be a part of the group. And it was sad. It was really sad. I don't know.
Seeing your own mortality.
Yeah, especially in that it was a different feeling as if you were dying, but at that moment, what made it even worse was that I was seeing myself dying or feeling like I was going to die in the future. And it was the quantum entanglement of potentially one expression affecting the other. So maybe in some ways, in this lifetime, I'm feeling the anxiety of the diminishing of that experience. And then, in turn, it's making me feel that feeling of death. But it's unexplained and it has a different type of entanglement, different type of expression. Yeah. I know that people do this. They kind of somehow recapture, remember a time in the past where it was just a very, very strong feeling and emotion. And you're very hooked into it. But it's not really going on in your current reality, but you want to hold on to it because there's a part of it that you need to kind of express, experience, and kind of work through. And when you're doing work in that area, you don't want to just disregard it. You want to allow it to take its course and release. And that's where you'll find a healing from, because it's the emotional charge connected to it. But in some ways, it's kind of nice to have that moment where you can reflect upon another time in your experience. I have people with mixed feelings about it. You know, some don't ever want to see any of this stuff. And then there are others, a lot of this information can be retrieved through past life regressions. But some people, you know, feel like this is the only way that they can heal. And I think for me, this has been a perfect tool for me to help heal and find those little areas. Now, in this case, I didn't go through any past life regression. It just came in as a memory. Similar to, as you were speaking today about a friend that you helped regarding a war. The information just started flowing through. And so instead of just stopping it, by carrying through, you're able to help lift a lot of souls.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Only I didn't lift a lot of souls, but I maybe in some ways helped. Maybe there'll be a lot of people that hear this and say, I remember that feeling of being that star, being in that experience or that expression of the light. Maybe the first early sparks of source. I don't even know the time, or if there is a time to calculate it.
So you're enjoying the shungite?
Yes, and the shungite came in, and so the guilt and the shame of embracing the contrast. Because remember, you know, early on we talk about Kraton, and he carried and absorbed all the blackness. And there were others that have these moments of contrast, and so we often look at them as they're in the negative, you know, that they should be destroyed. But there's a purpose in existence, and it's not that we should embrace it and, you know, harm others or do anything bad like that. But they're even like Shuni, who is the black sun, is holding that contrasting space. And we learn lessons from the black sun. We learn things about devotion and, you know, doing the right thing to others and carrying through with our life. So, whatever our commitment is. And supposedly he kind of holds us to these things. And so likewise, when I saw the shungite, it wasn't a white stone, it was a black stone. And the black, it had a lot of depth, and it also looked like a black planet, because it's round. It could also even look like the black hole that I mentioned. I felt it was highly symbolic, and it literally did come in at the time when I was writing this transmission. My friend brought it up to me and said, oh, you have some mail. And I looked at it and opened it up. And at that point, you know, then I just decided to write it in because it was so significant.
Beautiful. Oh, I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased it arrived at a significant moment as well. That's even better.
That's why I mentioned it, because there's no possible way that I could have what would bring that connection in other than, they were showing me and whatever directed you to get this circular shaped, shungite. And at that exact time, have it fit and have so much meaning the way it came in.
It's a very shungite story, I have to tell you.
It is.
Very shungite indeed. So, shall we go on to our fourth and final communication with, it's not everybody's favorite, but, he's our anti-hero of the moment.
Metis
is always like, he's always whining a bit, isn't he? He's like, oh, I'm in such a terrible state, come and rescue me,
Well, for some reason he's trapped here, and he's kind of has the angst that we have. If you have to kind of live in the human experience, you develop that angst, that kind of frustration and, the traffic, the problems, the drama, and he's really very much entangled with what we're going through. So, that's why he sort of is different. The other ones are more lofty. They're floating above, they're traveling, and the stars, they're in a whole different station. And, he's pretty much, moving about with us. So
boots
we
on the
picked up our
ground.
habits. Yeah, he sounds a little bit too much like us.
Yeah.
And maybe for some people he's not like us at all, he's extreme, but I find that a lot of people love him. They absolutely love Metis, probably because they can relate to what he's saying and what he's feeling and find it comical because, it's those characters who you kind of love and they're dramatic and you can't take your eyes off of them and that they're going to get into something and they're curious. It's sort of like the cat that starts, jumping on the counter and knocking things over and that, at any given moment they're going to do something that draws your attention. That's Metis.
Yeah, like the friend who roller skates through your living room.
Yes.
On one foot, backwards.
On one foot. Yeah. And then somehow lands on his feet.
Yeah.
And you don't know how he did that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Metis 45. Hello, Suma. Were you successful with Dryden? I still feel the ball and chain at my feet.
Yes, Metis. I spoke to him about a few things. He seems to express that you had stolen some items, like talismans and women. Do you recall any of this?
Oh, I see he's itemizing everything now. And what trivial thing is he worried about as well?
Metis, it's hardly trivial. Taking objects from his house, entering his space and defiling it, seducing young females in his village. It's hardly petty or trivial.
Oh, very well. I will confess I had done a few minor things to him in light of the horrible humiliation I suffered from his sharp tongue.
Okay, well, what about the blue velvet? What is that all about? He said that I should mention it to you.
He asked about that. Oh, I can see I got a bit under his skin. Was it about the few measly coins inside or the note he left? The big note of debt he left? Or was he clinging to his lost love letter to Georgia? I know about her.
I don't know, Metis. Well, what did you do with it?
I have it for safekeeping if he ever wants to infect others with his stories about me.
Metis, you should let it go. I think that would suffice his concerns.
Yeah, Metis. Hear me. I only want what is mine and the talisman. Hand me the talisman or all of this will go away. I promise you I will honour my word. Do you swear to uphold your truth? I could ask the same to you. Here. They both said at the same time and exchanged one to another an item. Metis handed the blue velvet bag to Dryden, and Dryden handed a red silk stocking to Metis.
What was in the silk stocking, Midas?
My keys, my dowry from my wife, and my life back.
Oh, does this mean you are both able to exit back to your homes?
I'm able to close the doors forever from any species or race who dares enter in without my permission. That includes you as well, Suma. You are only welcome by invitation. I can finally go home if I want to.
Where is that, Midas?
I don't want to say because I'm torn between both planets. I've been here so long that I don't want to leave.
Well, I guess that is a dilemma for you.
Yes, indeed. Well, I am off. Farewell. He's gone. Oh, he's really gone from me. I'm grateful, Suma. I truly am.
Are you sure Dryden is gone for good?
Yes, the door no longer exists. He's satisfied and I got back more than I imagined. I don't know if I should weep or celebrate. I don't know if I want to sing. I feel a bit melancholy. I never was good at making decisions. Farewell, Suma. Tell Primus I'm sorry. I really am. A flower to the both of you. Good luck, charms. Many for all.
Midas, are you holding the Blarney Stone?
Yes. Farewell, my flower. I put a little magic in it. Oh, it's like the end of season. You know,
I know.
Everybody gets what they want. You know, Borkham ascends. You know, Andronicus gives his great speech of renunciation of his power. Metis gets his mojo back. Dryden disappears.
Yeah.
Rodan's
Well, at least they're not going to have any problems.
Yeah,
anymore.
well, not when we say problems anymore. I'm sure Metis could whip up a couple more. I'm sure we're not done yet with this master trickster spirit being.
Yeah, I'm sure he's still around, but yeah, you mean Dryden showing up?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about him that I don't trust either. Yep.
Like we're taking Metis aside, for God's sake. Oh, the irony of it all, the irony. Oh, Metis, everybody loves you. You're such a rogue.
Yeah. And I like Dryden too. I think they're just very much the same.
Yeah, I feel, like, they've both got a similar sort of vocal quality. When I'm doing their voices, obviously, I'm trying to think of, but, it's like Metis has got a common voice and Dryden's got a posh voice. That's the way I characterize them, you know.
So Dryden's like Posh Spice?
Not Posh Spice, no, more like, have you ever seen Blackadder?
No.
You've never seen Blackadder? Brilliant
No.
British TV British TV show. Alright, forget that one.
But I can tell the difference when you're talking, the who is who.
Yeah.
You have a different accent and it's...
Yeah. That's the posh, what I mean. Posh is, upper class. That's what posh means, so. Something to do with ships. Port
And he
house.
really wasn't wrong. Dryden wasn't wrong. He clearly went in. Metis definitely crossed the boundaries. Was taking things he shouldn't have taken, but he suffered for it too, so. There's always, you'll pay. But anyhow. So that's the first part of the show. I hope to be live for the second. And we'll go to music. If not, farewell everyone. If for some reason I can't connect, then I will see you the following week. Blessings, love, peace. Stay in harmony. Raise your vibration. Let's go to that next level.
Yep. Stay on top, people. That's all you have to do. Just stay on top. Thank you very much, Jessica. We'll see you either in a couple of minutes or in 7 days. Safe journeys. May the road rise to meet you, my love.
Oh, thank you. Check in and say hello. We're still on Answers from the Universe, and I've been looking at some of the messages over in the chat room. Hello, everyone in the chat room. And I saw someone said, well, if I have a child, I'll have them listen to Answers from the Universe. Because it's the stories, I imagine that's what they're referring to, the stories and kind of the animated way that you're, JP, that you've put everything together.
Hi.
Hi, JP.
Hi. Yeah, due to the magic of stagecraft, we've managed to assemble a show from different parts of space and time, bringing them back together in the now. So here we are, we're live in real time with
Yes.
Jessica, Ariel, Morocco, in an undisclosed location.
Until now.
Until now.
So I am in the wonderful place of Mount Shasta. I came up here last, what time was it? It was on Saturday. It's very surreal here. You think that things are, going to flow in a certain way, and it doesn't work that way. Excuse me for a moment. To clear my throat a bit. And so, you expect the path to be going down a certain road, and it's not. You sort of, get into a flow as soon as you walk into the space. Immediately start feeling the energy. If your energy is not at the right vibratory frequencies, you have problems. Other energies start rising up, and it becomes somewhat cathartic for people, feelings like wanting to cry. I've been here with a group, and there's been mixed emotions and different types of things. For some of you, that if you ever were to come here, you would have the feeling of maybe that this is home, resonating fully with the energies in the space, and feeling like your arms and your heart and everything is open to embrace the living, breathing energy of Mount Shasta. And for those, the only thing I could think of is it sort of reminded me of my first visit into the mountain and looking at the moss on the trees and all the greenery that is not necessarily present in all areas of California. There's depleted somewhat of water, which, there's prayers for the water there, but anyhow, the movie called Life of Pi, and for those of you, if you haven't watched the movie, it's a very nice movie. It's connecting you with, your soul essence and your expansion and your eternal essence of who you are as a soul and how we survive and thrive in different environments in his quest against, with humanity in the beginning, his search, his spiritual search through life. And then he goes into this place where he goes through a quest of his inner survival and then survival with nature and these wild animals that he's dealing with, the being lost at sea and then having to deal with these animals that are in a predatory arrangement, having a wild tiger there, a hyena, and some other animals. Eventually he lands on this island after his cry, a big storm occurs and he really feels that this is the end of the line, and he opens up his heart and just bursts out with, I'm ready to come home. I lost my parents and my brother, and I lost everything that means anything to me. And I'm just opening myself up for this is it. I'm ready to go and meet my maker. I'm ready to go into that next level of eternal, expansion. And I'm forgiving everything. I'm at peace. I'm in that place. And then he lands on this island. And he goes up to that island, and there's this greenery that looks exactly like Shasta. It's vibrant green. And he grabs a handful of it and puts it in his mouth, and he's a vegetarian. It's the first time he had something green. And I don't know how many days. Maybe it was 90 days. He walks up and he sees these other little creatures and realizes that the island is a living, breathing being. It's alive. And it actually has some type of acid that comes up through the waters. And during the day, it's regular water. At night, it turns into this acidic substance, similar to what one might think of a digestive tract. And so it starts to consume anything that's on the island. Of course, that's not what I was feeling at Shasta, but there was a point where you see in the movie The Life of Pi where you're looking at the landscape, and if you look in the far distance, he's looking out at the trees, and then to the right, there's a little landmass where it looks like a man laying down. And that's what I felt. I felt like there was a man laying down, very large, and he was the living and the breathing of Mount Shasta. That's what it felt like to me. To some people, this might sound really blown out. It might be exaggerated, a figment of my imagination. Those of you that are listening to me, you know I can be quite colorful. You know, I have all of these, the pieces of information that comes in and depicts this landscape of imagination. Or is it imagination? Is it, for me, it's not. This is communication. I was never a creative writer up until the time when I fully awakened and opened up my chakras and began to really start speaking to my higher self, rising up. And then I began having communications, and everyone knows that I didn't start doing the Andronicus transmissions until over a year ago. So, to me, this was a very, very interesting experience. I saw a lot of giant energies there. The tree spirits were very alive. I saw one bend over and look in the vehicle as we were driving up, in my third eye, of course. And the tree energies were very alive. The Fae is very present there. And usually is in any place, and you could tell it is because everything seems to be very vibrant, and the fauna, plant life seems to really flourish. And I started going up. I had gifted a friend a crystal in a certain formation, and we literally saw a rock formation that matched it. There was some trails and other places that we went to. There's a place where you could see there was a labyrinth there that someone had built, and right next to it is a little place where the fairies could definitely dwell. They had created little tiny fairy circles around each one of the trees with stones. Someone had gone up there and really resonated with this living mountain. And another location was a medicine wheel, which we had the privilege of standing around and experiencing, doing ceremony there. And there was another place where we also, spent some time. But it was absolutely beautiful, and the journey's not yet over. I've had some visitations from Some of the people of Telos had come to speak with me, and which is common. Just about everyone that came with us had some experience. And it has been very, very welcoming. One of the things that happened, and I plan on having some guests come on. I don't know if we were able to. There's a place in the downtown area which is also very alive, and everyone's very aware of this magical presence there on the mountain. And there's a place, there's a chai store. It's only chai, no coffee. And you go there and they'll mix beautiful chai for you. And they'll have, there was a place where we had some interesting discussions, and we sat around, and some gentleman came in, and he could see he was just had some kind of experience, and he said, "I've ascended." Whether he did or not is not my judgment, but it was the way that he came in. I just embraced it, and I enjoyed his energy. I enjoyed his exuberance and connection to the Ascended Masters. His name was Savan. And that was very, very interesting. And then I met this gentleman who teaches meditation in town, who I was going to have as a guest. His name is Robert Christensen, and maybe we can connect with him today, maybe not. But
I've got it queued. Do you want me to press the button?
Yeah, to see if he's available.
Yeah. Or do you want to talk a little bit more about your experience?
We could call and see if he's around and say hello.
Okay. Okay.
But meanwhile, yeah, so I also met with a whose name is Louis Albinger, and he is he is the owner of the chai shop, and he had a strong awareness of making change politically, and he wanted to be the voice of Shasta to the state of California and be a part of Congress and within his region, and be elected as a congressman in the region. I had a talk, and for some reason I was drawn to go and listen to him. And it was such progressive thinking that I would like to bring him on so you could see going beyond our early forefathers and how that they crafted the Declaration of Independence, and we're thinking about independence fully and freedoms and certain rights that we know have been violated repeatedly in our nation since then. But the discussion that I had with Louis Albinger is that he would like to bring in this other approach to thinking, and that is the consciousness and the awareness. It's a consciousness being brought into government, making people accountable. And it's not just for the state of California, but globally. And I really like that. It's, he was promoting Bernie Sanders, but beyond that, I'd like him to just promote his philosophy. And he actually spoke to the energy of the mountain for permission to represent them and politically go forward and share a more conscious way of running governments and being responsible for actions and for a fair economy. So, JP, did you have any luck?
I've tried twice now. He's not picked up. So, I'll try one more time.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We'll wait until another time, and I'm sure that, he will connect with us another time.
Sure. So, it sounds like you've had, as I had in Ireland, quite a shift in consciousness, and some kind of, it's like It's a bit like Dryden and Metis exchanging their little mojo bags.
Yeah, the red. So you want me to give you my red sock?
I don't know what that means. Is that a thing from a film?
Something that he had. I don't know, something that Midas had.
Oh,
Oh, is it the blue velvet?
I thought it was blue velvet bag. Yeah,
that
was I was thinking about.
Yeah, it was a red sock. It's red stocking or something.
Oh, sorry, I lost that
Yeah.
completely. Anyway, you should get a better straight man.
Do you know when I first got there, JP, they lost my bag. Everything, I had one carry-on, I put it on the bus, and to bring me down to the airport, I got to the bus, and when I got off of the bus, it was probably like 4 a.m. It was very early because I had an early flight. And when I got off the bus, my bag was gone.
Oh, well, that early?
Someone had grabbed my bag. It was too early for someone, and they had mistaken my bag for theirs. And when I looked, there was a bag left there, and I looked at the bus driver. I knocked on the door. I said, "Hey, wait a minute, whose bag is this?" And he just looked at me and said, you better run after whoever it is and find it. And then he closed the door. I said, okay, that's not going to help me. So I went and looked in the bag. He goes, well, I thought you said that wasn't your bag. I said, it's not my bag. I said, but I'll bring it to a safe place. And he said, so he left. I brought it to the airport, dropped it off, and I looked inside. It was like man's shoes or something in there. And then when I got out, I was like, well, I couldn't find my bag. I ended up, going and dropping everything off in the lost and found. And, I arrived in California with only the clothes on my back and a small bag of a few different items. It was mostly my purse.
Oh my gosh. So did you lose your laptop or anything?
No, which is really weird, I had kept my tablet with me.
Oh, thank God for that.
Everything was supposed to be a carry-on, and I could have easily had packed it away because it was going to be on the plane with me, but I didn't. Something told me not to, and needless to say, I was graciously assisted with clothing from a friend, and I essentially look like a hippie. I got moccasins and long skirts and colorful scarves and.
How perfect! So you fit right in. You fit right in with Shasta clothing.
Yes.
In Findhorn we have a place called the Boutique, and it's where lots of people leave their clothes. So a lot of people who you see walking around are wearing the clothes that come out of the boutique, and I imagine it's a similar sort of energy to this, because it's like these are clothes that live here. Sometimes they go around people. As opposed to these are, these like people own these clothes. So it's a very different attitude towards clothing, I think. And maybe there's a lesson in there.
Well, yeah, it does follow suit with a lot of, it's reusable. It's, good clothing that maybe someone just, they enjoyed it and were able to leave it, because all the clothing are reused clothing. And nothing was brand new. Exactly. So I think you're right. It was almost like I couldn't bring the energy of my clothing over here. I had to, be wearing these outfits.
How do you feel in them?
I felt perfect. I felt natural.
That's the most important thing. If you feel, it's in a way, it's a bit of I would think it was really good for you to wear those clothes there, so you didn't look too out of place, and it was like, oh, there she is. Who's that? Kind of thing.
It also enabled me to approach, I think, all different types of people. I just would meet strangers in the street, and a lot of them were drifters. I don't know, they're kids, in their 20s, just sort of roaming around like backpackers. and wanting to be close to the mountain. So, you see that all over, and they're hanging around in the coffee shops and, walking, down the streets. Their clothing is all very eclectic. And, they're very friendly. And I haven't met one that I couldn't approach. And, we were, gifting some of them here and there. They're very grateful. Everyone here seems to, in the town, seems to have a philosophy and understanding of the oneness. And, one of the symbols that the, chai shop has is, it looks like, 3 dots. And, there's almost like in the shape of a pyramid, there's a dot on top and then 2 below, creating a bit of a triangle. And that was an old symbol from, I don't know if it was World War II, reminding people that this is a no fight zone. This is a non-war zone. So, another way to look at it, it's a symbol of peace. And so I put it around my neck. I purchased, it was just like a $7 necklace. But the meaning had a lot more value than that. So I put it around my neck. It's just, that's pretty much the mentality of everyone. And like you said, it's probably like, maybe Findhorn has its own, other living, something there, that's alive and giant and.
Oh yeah, they call it the Findhorn Angel.
Okay.
Yeah, very
aware of it. And is it very large?
It's spread over a large area, yeah. I mean, I talk to it here, if you like. I mean, part of how I connect with my higher wisdom is through this entity. Mm-hmm. Through the land. And, it's part of the movement upwards, the ascension movement. I love that story about your man coming into the cafe. People would say, oh yeah, only in Shasta, kind of thing. Cause that would probably be like, oh, it's Wednesday,
I know. Well, I mean, if I told you, I mean, he literally came in with, a cape, a red cape, like a Superman cape.
Did he flounce in?
Did he
truly flounce in?
Yeah, he just sort of just walked in and looked disoriented and just, sat down. And he was just like, you knew something happened there, something.
Something extraordinary. Yeah. Well, people have all sorts of, stories about Shasta number one, that Talos is just below it. This is the one that really interests me, is that, and here's the thing. If you've got a mountain, there's a cavity underneath it. Mm-hmm. Because the mountain is just like wrinkled up and the earth is not that thick. So it's like a wrinkle on a hand. So underneath is a space. So there's probably a very, very large space underneath Mount Shasta. And,
definitely. There's definitely, I mean, you could see it. If you're intuitive at all, you can feel that there's definitely a lot more activity going on than what meets the eye.
You probably have to contact some sort of liaison to say, can I come? And they'll probably say, oh, for sure. There's, psychically, there's probably like a booking office or something, on the inner planes. You probably just have to ask,
Yeah, my feeling is they come in and they meet you. That they look, like the average person. I think we've already met them. Some of them. And, we had that encounter with them and then that's what they're not gonna have, if they're going to be very selective who they actually bring down there, and I think it's just like any other relationship that it develops. I'm sure that there are people that claim to do tours and all this other stuff. I wasn't drawn to do that. I wanted it to happen organically. And I felt like I connected. There's a story of a woman who came out here, from another state. I forget. She wrote a book. And she felt like she was drawn to come out here. She came out here. And then she heard directly from Adama. When she came out, she didn't hear from him for 3 years. And finally, in time, they ended up taking her, and she went into the fifth dimension, I guess. That was the story. So you don't see her anymore.
Oh, that's the thing.
So,
a lot of people don't come back to tell the story, do they? That's why you don't hear so many stories, is because they don't come back. Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean,
maybe you don't want to go yet.
Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, I have a child. You know, I have an adult son, and I'm not ready to. I'm willing to do the work, but no, I'm not in a rush to go. So, but I think I can visit, but not stay there. Like Admiral Byrd. You know, just come back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, this is the thing. The reason that we don't hear from people who have gone there is that they don't come back. And, it makes sense. You know, it's an ecology, isn't it? There's a good reason for it. Because once you've gone, you have to go beyond a certain fear, which is an initiation. You know, you just have to approach it with complete love. And, then you'll pass through into it. Yeah. Never thought of it like that. Anyway. Yeah, so, so there's probably lots of, past life fragments of yourself, dotted around the landscape that just going to cafes and things like that will reconnect them. It's probably been...
and just connecting to people that I know I knew. There was, a native man that I bumped into. And I just, for some reason, I was calling him brother. And I don't usually do that. I mean, it's not just a part of my vernacular. I say it, you know, on rare occasions I would, but I just felt like I knew him. And he did the same thing to me, and he gave me a piece of amber. He says, he goes, I see you have everything but this. And he handed me a piece of amber. I put it on my, shungite necklace, actually. And, I just felt like, you know, there was a kinship there for a moment, and then, you know, we just left, and that was it, and I may never see him again, but it was, you know, when you feel like you're connecting to your soul group, it felt very much like that, being in the space here. It was like, I think that everyone thinks that I'm just like open and I'm chatting to everybody, and I'm not really like that all the time, and, you know, where I live, is a lot of times I keep to myself, but when I came here, I just felt like I was stepping into my home, one of my homes.
Into your kingdom. Were you just about to say kingdom?
Yeah. No, I wasn't thinking that word at all.
Or, you know, because it felt like a place where people recognize and value you. That was the feeling that I was getting. Your domain, you know.
Oh. Yeah, I did feel that. I felt like I didn't have to have a facade. I didn't have to prove anything. I didn't have to validate that I was spiritual or anything like that. It was none of that. It was very authentic and real. And I think, you know, being open-hearted, it was okay, because I didn't feel like there was any problem, anyone wanted anything from me. You know, there's certain places, if you're open-hearted, that they will try to take, or, you know, see you as an easy target. And I didn't feel that at all. Felt like you can really be yourself, and, you know, not be in any other situation, be very welcomed. We went to this Indian restaurant in town, and, we were waiting for them to open up, and they opened up around 5 in the evening. I was like, oh, it looks like they're closed. Doesn't make any sense. All of a sudden all the lights came on. And so I went over there with, someone from the group, and, we opened the door, and he says, there you are, I've been waiting for you. And he gave us each a hug. I mean, where do you go in a restaurant that you get that kind of greeting? It's just like...
Only in Mount Shasta.
Only in Mount Shasta, yeah. So I said, was Shiva here? In which I did see Shiva, by the way, a couple times.
Mm. In representation.
Yeah, yep. I saw him etherically. I also saw Kraton here, just today. I saw Kraton. Did not see Metis, and have not seen Andronicus, but definitely have seen, I saw Adama. And I saw Adama literally on the top of the mountain. I'm sure he's inside, but it looks like, talk about the king of the castle, and he seems to be just right on the very top of it. And I saw this very, very white illuminating light, very, very profound white light that, something that I don't see very often. Kind of glittery white, but not like sparkly fairy, but definitely something, that would be blinding if there was quite a bit of it.
They say there's a pyramid. Sorry.
Pyramid? Go ahead.
In Talos. This is what fascinates me, that there's a pyramid that glows a certain color at different times of the day. And so they don't say, I'll meet you at 3 o'clock, I'll meet you at 7 o'clock. They'll say, I'll meet you at orange. Or, let's eat at purple. In the purple hour. Anyway.
That's funny because, Louis, Albinger, talks about being, the purple party. As far as, the red and the blue, which is, the other political parties' color. And he called himself the purple party. And that was interesting.
The Purple Revolution.
Yeah.
With Prince as the martyr.
Yeah. Yeah, Prince. The Zamfir's purple color that he used going in and out of dimensions. Yeah, it's a powerful color, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Crown chakra.
Oh yeah. Very Piscean.
Mm-hmm.
Very, end of cycle.
Yeah.
Been there, done it, seen it all. Time for the purple. Amethyst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm wearing amethyst around my wrist. I've got all sorts of colors. Very rainbow. Very rainbow-like.
So have you got the shungite with you as well?
I do. I'm wearing it.
Oh, excellent. I'm glad that didn't get lost.
No. I had it around my neck the whole time. And, all the way, on the way over, and then, throughout, and then I added the amber to it. But I was also gifted with a shungite pyramid too that I've been walking around with in my purse. And, just feeling like a personal, collectiveness, a reestablishment of what I'm here for, what I'm doing. It's a good place to kind of center and assess where your life is and where you want to go next. It's a good place to be in a community where you feel very liberated, about your expression and your belief and not feel judged. I come from a very, very conservative location in the United States. And so as much as I have this group of people around me that are somewhat understanding, there's still, limitations. And this, to me, it was very nice. It was a great place to, expand in that way. So you're working with a collective, a group. I felt very harmonious and, revitalizing in a lot of ways. I see a future here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it feels like you've let the East Coast go a little.
Yeah, well, I hold on to the East Coast because I wanted to raise. You know, it needs to be above seawater a bit more energetically. It needs to raise in consciousness. And they're so wrapped up in the corporate world, and it's not just the Boston area where I'm from, but New York. And all along the coast, you've got Washington, D.C. Everything's over there, and that's the part of the world that needs to raise up. Large populations of people all settled in small areas all along the coastline. And then that doesn't shift and change, then there's going to be problems in the future, and I'm trying to hold the space along with others in that area. And it will come. You know, it's all going to come. But in order for me to support the East Coast, I needed to come to the West Coast to feel whatever it is I needed to feel in this transformation.
To get a charge, there's a charge come. And not only a charge, but a grounding. You know, it's like, very much like what you were saying, that you don't have to keep proving yourself that you're as medium as people will just say, hi, oh, you're a psychic, you know. They'll see it in you without you having to kind of prove it. You don't even need to say it. Here I am.
Yeah.
They recognize you.
I usually have people that recognize that anyhow. And, start asking me questions. But it's good. It's all very good, you know, and we're here for service, right? We're here to help others and provide insight. And that's what we do. And, you know, talking about, World Spirit Radio and how it's very progressive and has provided information that not all the networks do. And I know that there's quite a few metaphysical networks out there. A lot of them go for more sensational things such as ghost hunting and I did that originally. I was moving in that direction at one point in the paranormal discussions about things unexplained. And that's a part of it. That's the beginning for a lot of people. Just to validate that there's the other spiritual aspect of things.
It's very entry level though. I mean that's what we're talking about, you know, having to prove it. For God's sake. You know. Anyway, go on, sorry.
Yeah, and so then you move into this other space where you're acknowledging and understanding, because as you become more open, you start recognizing other types of energies around you. When you open up, I tell people you start to become aware of presences that are from all different sources, and some of them are not very pleasant. And I've heard people say, well, I just want to see angels. Well, if you're opening up to angels, it's very likely you're going to see the contrast of that at some point or another. Because you're open. You can't really siphon it out. It has to be, but you have to, you know, recognize, what's happening and not be upset or angry and just you can shift your awareness so that you keep on a plane of awareness that's higher, that rises above a lot of it.
Yeah,
and
so you're not triggered.
The only way right. Knowing that you're safe always. And you have to get to a point where you're safe. And that's being really, really connected in, rooted into, Mother Earth and Father Sky, and having that deep connection to Source, the God Source energy, and having a sense of knowing of who you are. And all of this comes with time and growth and understanding. It's like when you awaken, you begin to remember all the things that you knew. And once you remember all those things that you knew, then it's easier for you to be in that space. And also be able to allow new information to come in and grow from it. stepping off from where you were before.
Stepping up.
Hmm.
So, excellent. I'm really pleased that you've expanded your horizon.
I am too. I'm very, very grateful. Of all the people that I was able to meet and the people that I spent time with, everyone I spent time with has been so wonderful, and they're beautiful souls and loving and have so much to offer to the world. And as I was able to see myself reconnect, I was watching them and actually seeing people grow within this short period of time and heal in different ways. And just witnessing that whole expansion of things. Individually, collectively as a group, working very unified. We've done multiple ceremonies, but we're not doing it necessarily. I think a lot of it we needed for ourselves, just to kind of break through some of the heavy energies that's been on the planet and how it's impacted our lives individually. And once we broke through that, then being able to spend time in that space and resonating with the mountain, with Shasta, as considering it as a living organism, and not just the plant life, but actually the being that creates that space, and just taking it in, loving it, taking it in, and allowing that love to be a part of us and who we are. And so I can't help but think that a piece of that isn't coming with us wherever we go when we depart and go into our separate parts of the world, or wherever, or the United States, or wherever we're going, and taking that with us. Just like you, JP, I think, you've done it in your own way as well. I think you've been over here. Haven't you been to Shasta?
No, I've only been to Utah.
Utah.
But I'd love to go to Shasta. I'd love to be a
Yes.
Are you a Shastafarian now?
I guess I am. Guess I am.
Hip it up.
Hip it up. Yeah.
It's your true nature, Jessica, really.
It's legal now too, right?
It's legal.
Kidding.
You can legally be a hippie.
Medical issues. Well, they
A
legalized
certified
marijuana.
hippie. Yep.
Although I was never really big on that anyhow, but it's kind of funny.
Excellent.
That, when I was younger, I never thought it would. I was like, oh my God, can you imagine everyone stoned driving on the highway? That would be scary.
Well,
that would be
better
really scary.
than drunk people. I have to say. Apparently, it makes people
That's
drive
scary
better
too.
because they drive slower. Because you get more paranoid, and so you slow down and you drive better. It's true. You'll never know who's driven you when they're...
Driving 20 miles an hour, we'll know.
That's right, yeah. And it feels like it's whizzing by. Hey, can you go a bit faster? I want to get there next week.
I've had to do that. I've done that. You drive up next to someone that's driving really slow and just kind of look in and see who that person is. Sometimes it's an elderly person.
Yeah.
But anyone else, you'll get pulled over. You have to drive at a certain speed, certain areas.
With those big red eyes, yeah.
Yeah, and they'll be like, all right, look at there's a live one.
Somebody plugged him into the mains. So are you back home now?
Nope, I'm still here.
You're still there. You're still
still
here and now.
I'm still here in the moment, in the town of Shasta, not on the mountain right now. I'm just I'll call it the village.
From our own correspondent.
Words.
Excellent.
Yep.
The village. Yeah, there's again, in Findhorn they say, they're going over to the village, going to the park, which is where the mainly the hippies. So, it's like this. I can really relate to it. And being, by a mountain, there's a lot of first ray energy there. So you'll be getting loads of really high downloads from your God being, definitely.
Yeah, the man of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, it was a group. We took a picture. I don't know if I could send it and people can see it in the group, but there was a picture of the mountain that had faces on it in the sky of the cloud formation.
Wow.
And I thought that was really, really cool. And if you look in closely, that's what you see. Let's find it. There was one where it actually looked like there was a hand. I don't know if I can send it in. Let's say download it. It looks like a hand reaching out and holding the world.
Maybe you post them on Facebook and people can see them.
Yeah.
Or
I don't think I can post them right now.
yeah, that'd be difficult.
Yep.
So, wandering around in borrowed clothing, like a proper gypsy girl, offering,
you know me,
offering
that's natural for me.
Yeah, giving fortunes in exchange for meals. Cross me palm with silver, love. I'll tell you your future. You come back. She's a Shastafarian, yes. Definitely.
Yeah. And if it was the summertime, I'd be wearing flip-flops and just kind of walking around. Yeah.
So you've
definitely.
actually walked several miles in somebody else's moccasins.
Yeah. These moccasins are amazing. I'll have to show you a picture of them sometime.
Are they comfortable?
Or maybe I'll get the upper. Yeah, they're really comfortable. When we were we were going through the mountain and there were some rock formations and I was able to climb up in the rocks because it almost felt like you were barefoot.
Wow.
It moves with my feet. Yeah, I could see why they wear them like that. Cause you can really, move about and feel like you have some agility. Whereas a lot of these rock climbing shoes or just like hiking shoes are too, stiff on the bottom.
Yeah. And
these I felt like, felt like I was sort of barefoot, but yet covered and then able to climb up and it felt really comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So, has your hair gone into dreadlocks yet? I mean, it's only been a week.
No.
I mean,
No.
Day 5 and my hair
I don't
is
think I
starting...
would go with dreadlocks. I might go with braids. And I've done that before and just had braids. But I kind of don't like the dreadlock look so much for me.
Well, yeah, braids would work.
My son may never talk to me again.
It's like, who's that? Oh, Mum.
He's a little concerned about me as it is. He's like, are you sure you're okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. It's like, Mom, just send me a message every now and then. Let me know you're all right.
Those weird people on the radio are having a bad influence on you.
Oh, he knows me. He knows how I am. I've always been like this.
Brilliant.
But so, I'm sure that, we'll be here a couple more days. I'll come back. And then I'll have to, get adjusted to the energy again. And see, I'm not sure why Kraton showed up here. I think that's interesting.
When you were talking about it, I was thinking everywhere's got its stuff. Now, if you've got first ray stuff, you'll have fourth ray stuff. So there'll be psychic battles going on in a place like that as well. All the sorcerers and magicians will be, throwing their little gin at each other, and I'm sure Kraton is there to mop up the mess.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of a feeling that, am I in the right or wrong place? Because, here are a lot of people in North Dakota right now, and they're fighting a battle. They're making a statement to the U.S. government about bringing in the pipeline.
I'd say, just to kibosh that whole thing, Jess. Now, who was it said to you? We've got enough warriors. It's the healers we need.
Right. And that's what we did. We sent out healing.
Yes.
And,
no doubt.
I thought the same, what would I do that would make a significant difference? I've been out in that area. I lived in Nebraska. I went to, I did Sundance in Pine Ridge, South Dakota. I've been out to the, Devil's Tower. I've done that journey. I've been out there, and I know that this is something very unique. And even while I was out here, I talked to some of the local, Native people, and, they were talking about still going out there. And a part of me, I felt like I wanted to be there to support them, but I felt like for me to come out here was more of my path. It made more sense, and that I could then, send out energy, which I did at some point. We released some native spirits, and I asked them, and I actually connected to the Great Spirit out here. And, when I sent the energy out, I told the Great Spirit to assist whatever's happening in North Dakota. Now, had I not come out here, I might not have connected in that way. So I felt like I took my path. It was a roundabout way, but, as they were having me do my work on a personal journey as well as a universal journey and connecting for myself and others and sending out prayer, but was able to send out energy to, North Dakota because I want everyone to be protected and I don't want anyone else to get hurt. I don't want any illusion and false, flags. I don't want anything to happen to the buffalo out there, and I want to make sure that those that are out there protesting, that they're making a statement, a Gandhi-like statement, something that is profound and long-lasting, or a Martin Luther King-like statement where people will remember that this stood for something of purpose and help it to make an impact for the future. So, and I can't control the way people act, and none of us can, and we're not intended to, but, if the energy is right, it will be highly effective. So, and that's the best I can do, and I send out my prayers, and I hope that everyone else will be in agreement with that. Meanwhile, we continue on and doing our own personal work, and then, working with the group for the consciousness of all humankind, and for the ascension process of the earth. So it looks like we're getting close to the end of the hour. And, I want to send my blessings to all and thank you for listening to all the different stories that I have and carrying on with my experience. Thank you, JP, for being a part of it. And
thank you, Jessica. I'm really pleased for you.
Thank you, and blessings to you in the chat room, and all listeners.
Good night, Jess.
See you next
Enjoy.
week.
See you next week.
Good night.